guys, welcome back. I feel like everybody's hovering. I'm a little run down today, and I made you a video and I didn't think it was good enough, so it was up, but it got taken down. Anyway, somebody asked me a really good question. Would I talk about like gods, spirits, whatever, demons, whatever, and what do I think they are and what do I think separates them, if anything? I honestly asked myself that. I can tell you that they can all do the same thing. So it's not like I see gods as stronger and then demons or underworld gods, whatever term you want to use, as weaker, and then like spirits way down here very weak. They can all work the same kind of things. Like, I had a dream about having a child with Satan this morning. It was a grown adult man, and he was just kind of smiling at me. And I'm like, I'm never there for the blessed event, but I just see these random children in dreams. And I think it's a metaphor. I think they like to speak in metaphor. So I don't think I'm the literal child of Satan. And I was speaking to Satan last night. I know this channel. And we were talking about, and he was like, well, would you love me if I was a fallen angel? And we had to talk about, okay, if he's a fallen angel, then that means, no offense to Christian, God is kind of a dick because all he wanted to do was be independent and not be told what to do. And there's nothing wrong with that. And if you see him in that light, then he is the one that kind of brought freedom and liberation to humans and kind of moved humans along the evolutionary path and taught them such things as, you're buck ass naked, you might want to invent clothes. So, you know. So in that way, he is kind of, that's what some people say Lucifer and Satan are the same because, light bringer, light being a metaphor for knowledge. Anyhow, we were having this talk, and there are some people that see him as an old god, a forgotten god. A lot of people will say anytime you're mentioning someone like Satan or Lucifer or Baal or anything, some people will roll those all back into Pluto, and some people just see Satan as a construct for the part of the mind that just wants what it wants unreasonably and whatever. Anyhow, we were talking last night, and I had the train this morning, and then I go on Pinterest, and there's these pins of this guy. I forget his name, but they're obviously kind of pop culture Satanism, so they're not meant to be like actual Satan, but there's one where the girl's surrounded by wolves and it's her new family, and I didn't get to tell you that like Mammon is associated with wolves, so that was Mammon. And there were just like all these Satan things. And I thought that's cute, but it's not like I really talk to Satan. I'm sure he's just a construct in my mind. I come back on YouTube, and this guy that yodels to chickens in Japan came on my feed. I'm getting really random videos. And he's singing as he's dancing around. He stops in front of the Hell Cafe. And I'm like, okay, maybe. My mail comes. I get Fox's Peanut Den. Fox's Pizza Den. I almost said something else. Somebody's back here losing it. And they have the Fox, so Inari's been coming in too, so that's Inari. And there's something about devils on the one tape that came in. So I'm like, okay, they're saying, yes, we're here. Yes, we're going to help you. Here's your sign. We know it's not $1 million, but here you go. And to me, there's like really no clear cut way to define them because they'll especially get really cagey because they're like, why? Why do you want to define us? Some people like to have that. They like to have like a listing of stuff, but it's not really, the longer you work with them, you realize it's not a thing of this god's more powerful than that god, or a god's more powerful than an angel, or angel's more powerful than a ghost, or a demon's more powerful than all of them. It's not like that. It's about who you get a good working relationship with and who can work with you, because we're all unique. Some people can work with someone and get great results, the next person works with them and absolutely nothing. It doesn't mean that, the one person is lying or something. It just means we all get different results. And I am, checking things and verifying this isn't Loki mischief, that Loki isn't bored and it isn't Odin mischief. And they're like, no. We have to kind of get over that stuff, because when the person commented, they said the Mammon video made them think about the Catholic Church and how it's towards wealth and, everything. And it's strange. In the Catholic Church, look at the Vatican. That is like the most authentic temple to Mammon I have ever seen. And yet they say it's for God, and God literally needs marble, priceless artworks, gold, silver, over quintillions of dollars. I mean, they probably have infinite amount of money and power and everything else. And I'm like, yet this is against everything you tell us God wants people to have. I'm confused. And that was one of the things that Mammon was like, yeah, I don't want it as my temple because those people are icky, but he's like, yeah, if it would be anybody's temple, it would be mine because it's all about the money and the power and the pageantry and having power over the masses and stuff like that. And he's the one that will kind of open your eyes. Loki will too. Loki pointed out too. And Loki was like, it's funny how they tell you shouldn't want nice things and you shouldn't want money in a home. And yet, conversely, if you get these things, God's blessing you. He goes, is it evil or is it not? And I'd be like, I don't know, I'm confused. So they're working with me to get me over that, to get me over the fact that, we live on a planet where as of yet, you need money to exist. you know, from the time you're born to your grave, you got to have some kind of money or bartering system to get through life. Yeah, we could all take off tomorrow and try to live in the woods. But, eventually, if enough of us were out there, some government somewhere would find us and tax the hell out of us. So, you never get ahead. You'd be like living out there, and suddenly somebody would decide they own the land and they own the water and everything else, and you own this money. You can't get away from it. So, to me, there's no clear cut definition. One second, these darn allergies. Because we lost so much about all these beings. We lost so much about Loki because the church destroyed it. And I'm not picking on the church, but they did do a lot of damage. We lost so much about the gods before Loki because when those people came in, they tried to destroy that religion. That's what humans do because a lot of time religion is about power. And again, amen back here. And we've lost so much about, was Satan seen as a god? Was, Beelzebub seen as a god? And was, and some people will say, yes, here's this very scant thing we have, here's one statue we have, but for all the lore, for how the people felt about them, we don't know. We know they're loving and kind now, but you have to approach them with loving kindness. That's the biggest thing I would tell you. Any being in the universe approached with loving kindness is generally going to react with loving kindness. If you approach them as a stark, icky thing and you throw holy water on them and beat them with the Bible, or you throw salt at them and throw a pentacle in their face, of course they're going to be hurt and scared. They were just trying to be friendly with you, and all of a sudden you're dousing them with, stuff, and you're yelling at them and you're attacking them. And some will defend themselves. It's kind of like why, if you go through that phase where a lot of people go through, especially like young Catholics, where they start looking into demonology and the demons are helping them and they're their friends, and then all of a sudden one thing happens and they get spooked, and it's just because they're powerful and they're strong, and they sometimes forget that they can scare people. And they're not doing it on purpose. It's just like, Loki can give you the spookies because he does something, knocks something random over, and you're like, demons. And I'm getting giggles. So I'm going to have to invent new language in this house. And then all of a sudden, the people are going out and they're getting the priest to bless the house, and they're throwing holy water on their friends, and they're, rebuking them in the name of Jesus. Of course they're hurt. And of course they're angry. And of course they might attack. If somebody thinks you're attacking them, what are they going to do? Most people are going to defend themselves. They are. And with demons, it would be like if they were in your house and they were helping you and everything else, and everybody's getting along, and then somebody knocks something over by accident because they're excited. And you go crazy and you start throwing holy water on them, of course they're going to react, and they're not going to react well. It's why you can have the same, like, going from demons to ghosts. You have a ghost in your house and they're perfectly fine and they're perfectly calm, but you start spraying them with holy water and they're going to get pissed off because that's their territory, for one. And they weren't hurting you, they weren't harming you, they were just, vaguely interacting with you, and you went on the attack. Of course they're going to get angry. And I've had experiences where, with ghosts, For example, and I'm not one of those ghost hunters or something, and I can't talk to your dead grandmother, please don't ask me. Um, they're perfectly friendly and genial unless they think like you're in a bad mood or you don't appreciate their place, and then they're very angry and they want you out and they want you out now. And that's just like we would be. Like, we could be very friendly if somebody came into our home like a friend, but then if they got nasty or they started acting belligerent, we'd want them out too. So I don't notice like a big difference. I know when we talk about gods and we deal with gods, we have a certain experience, and when we talk about demons in a or we talk about angels or saints or ghosts or whatever, or spirits, call me, or Loa or whatever, it could be the culture we surround them with. That could be a reason why they feel so different, or it could just be that they are different, but we don't have, like the person said, we don't have like a scientific thing like this is what a god's energy feels like, this is what a Loa's energy feels like, this is what an angel or saint feels like, this is what a demon feels like, this is what ghost feels like. We don't have that, but if it's a thing about, they none of them seem stronger than the other, so it doesn't matter who you're working with really in the end. It just matters that you have that good working relationship, and for me, my one thing is having patience. Patience and faith, I'm not always good at, and that's the one thing that kind of gets me. But they will send you little signs along the way. Like I had that dream today, and then I found those pins, and then that Hell Cafe came up, and then the devil thing came up in the thing, and I had asked like yesterday of like, can you please send me a sign that you're actually here and I'm not crazy and Loki's not playing a joke? No, even if it would turn out to be a Loki joke, it still means somebody's here and somebody's helping me. So at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. So I'm sorry that's not like a really precise definition. I like 20 years ago, if you would have asked me, I would have said yes, gods are gods and angels are angels and saints are saints. I really haven't noticed anything. You do you. Honestly, you do you. There are some people that see angels as demigods anyways. So you do you. You do what works for you. So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you later. Bye bye.